Hi everyone, my name is Sean Williams, here with Sean Flannery. What we're going to do is just break down a few of the moves that you saw on the World Championship Tournament. I'll take a look at why tournaments are so good to see a guy do his A game, you can learn, implement. What do you think about that?
I've put a lot of things in my game from watching tournament DVDs. I have. A lot of things that you've pointed out and said, look at this, and I've stuck them in my game.
Yeah, the great thing about a tournament is they're playing their A game. They're not messing around. They're not putting filler in. They got to play their A game. They need to win. So we're going to break down the first match with a reverse half guard that Yosuke was caught in on Kaio. Take a look at exactly what he was trying to do. And why he spent so much time there. So
this is Hamna from the Rooster division.
So Yosuke was in a reverse half guard, doing a great job to control the far knee, which is something that we really need to do from the reverse half guard. And you notice when you're watching him, he's underneath this arm. When a guy puts the arm underneath this arm, usually what he's trying to do is bait the guy to turn. I'm going to hip myself out just a little bit, and I'm going to step over. This is exposing his backside. When we step over, my left hand's going to look to dig an underhook as we roll him all the way over, grab my underhook, hopefully feeding the collar in, and more importantly, in the tournament standpoint, gaining those 4 points from 2 hooks in and potentially changing or ending that match. So let's take a look at this one more time. He spent a lot of time here. He had a real high success rate in the reverse half guard. Spent tons of time here. Kaio was a little bit onto what he was doing, so he didn't have much success. Soon as he's looking for Kaio to turn in, we're spinning, making a hook, and then placing both hooks in and finishing with our 4 points and hopefully attacking the neck. That would have changed the match. So Monma spent a lot of time in this position. What I would have liked to see, there were several instances where Kaio had an underhook and extending this arm. What I would have liked to see at the end of the match is for Yosuke to take a risk. To take a risk, we can lock up the Kimura. Now, that brings inherent risk of me being rolled backwards. So what I need to do is make a high right hook and trap off that near leg. This is going to allow me to move my hips out, kill my training partner or my opponent's hips by not allowing his hand to go underneath there. And I can use this to finish, or most likely I can use this to sweep, gain the top position, then possibly finish, or just secure a half guard pass position. And we can get our pass in a non-conventional way with an attack. So that's a few of the things that I would have liked to see Hamna do.
Instead of getting us in a stalemate with that reverse half guard.
Right, spent too much time there, was a little too cautious, and that decided the match inevitably.
It did. Another one of my favorite matches was the Bruno Cobrinha fight, and he used a technique that I like quite a bit, is an outside grapevine figure 4, usually used to sweep and attack with a heel hook, which is illegal in the Mundials, or a straight ankle lock, which Cobrinha ended up countering very well with a toe hold, which Williams catches me with all the time. So he'll show you a nice defense for this.
So let's take a look at how Cobrinha won this match. He was down by points. He's in this position where he's very secure with this position, I'm sure, because he does it as well, but he's down on points, time's running out, he's ending. The problem with this inside leg hook or reap here is if I can keep my right foot on the floor, I have a potential leg attack here. So we're gonna go a toe hold. When we go a toe hold, guys, we wanna grab the small toes with our hand. All right, in this particular instance, he turned it into a rolling toe hold. So as I push the legs down so my knee is free, this arm is diving when we step in. Now, as you see the figure 4 locked already on, what I need to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of a roll, and it gets our training partner or our opponent facing the floor. And you saw Bruno's foot in quite a predicament, got pushed right to his hip, and it possibly broke the foot. Well, how we want to finish this, guys, we actually want to keep it away from his hips, and we want to turn our our elbows to apply the foot lock.
And my defensive leg is caught up in his grapevine.
Let's take a look at this one more time, huh? So my leg is in a compromising position, but Charles took advantage of the more compromising position that Bruno's leg was in. So he grabs all the small toes and either applies the footlock or rolls and applies the footlock. And as we roll over, you can see that his foot, if I sit up here, you can see that his foot's in a very bad position. Both my feet are secure on the ground, and his defensive foot is locked underneath my foot. We can break the foot here pretty easily by just turning our elbows in a steering wheel-like motion, and we have a figure 4 toe hold, which won Ruben Charles the match. Our next match that I'd like to take a look at is from the Galvão Braulio Estima match.
Excellent match.
Yeah, it's great. It was a great match full of really amazing movement. What I'd like to take a look at is how he caught Braulio with the cradle choke or bow and arrow choke, whichever you'd like to.
From the turtle?
From the turtle. So when our opponent's down in the turtle, Galvão had Braulio's right side. So he was able to score this hook by using this hand to actually grab this underneath collar. So if Flannery sits up a little bit, we see that he grabbed an underhook with this hand just to maintain a grip on Braulio, which starts to really isolate his movement, make his movement real difficult. Once he brings him off his base, he's able to throw his right hook in. Once there's one hook in, Galvão was brilliant on his attack. He took the underhook out, fed the collar to the far side hand, and that sets up an immediate cradle choke. When I attack on the opposite side as my hook, it allows me to get my angle to step around the head, free my right foot as a hook on his far leg, and most importantly in this position, grab the pant leg. So Braulio is stuck. What we get is our forehead on the ground, we cross our legs, and we get a very powerful choking position.
Now from the turtle, what would you have suggested he do to get out of that?
Well, I think Braulio just got stuck. I think he got caught a little bit. He hesitated a little bit. There was a little bit of time where Galvão kind of floated on Braulio, and perhaps if he would have rolled to the guard, he would have saved himself from being tapped. He had a brilliant match up until that point. So, for instance, if I float on you, you have a great roll to the guard. So if I have no hooks and I'm floating a little bit, as you roll to the guard, it's going to make me come off to the side, and you're facing me again. So instead of hesitating on the turtle position, he perhaps could have rolled to the guard and saved himself.
Anytime there's no underhook grips, no collar grips, and no hooks, immediately floating, immediately roll back to the guard, or possibly attack triangles, or...
Yeah, it's a great position. Anytime I don't have complete control of the turtle position, your hips can get free, they can get mobile, and you can roll to the guard.
Great finish by Galvão, though. Now, one of my favorite competitors, Roger Gracie, because he's so well-grounded in the fundamentals, he hit a sweep that you literally learn your first day in jiu-jitsu. And I'd like Williams to explain this sweep, defending a knee through the middle pass.
Yeah, Roger has a very high rate of success with this sweep. He's used it. I saw him use it brown belt through black belt in the Worlds, and at a high-level tournament like that, if you use a sweep over and over, and it's working, then there must be something to it. As easy as it is, must be something to it.
And if it works when people know it's coming.
Absolutely. So what it is when the knee is coming through the middle and our opponent is down. Roger has a tendency to either have the guard already locked or lock the guard, leaving this guy's leg stuck. Now, the important thing is that my legs need to be over his hip. If I don't have his hip inside the lock of my legs, he's not going anywhere, and perhaps he may open that knee and get into my half guard. So the most important thing about this sweep is that you got to have your training partner's hips locked off. So my knee's controlling his hip, blocking his hip. The other thing we need to make sure we do is control the sleeve. And I noticed this year, Roger adapted his sweep a little bit. He controlled the collar. Now I'm going to explain why. So because the sweep, of its inherent ease, once I control the sleeve and the leg, it allows me to get up. The potential danger is my leg is extended. So I can be foot locked if I'm not careful. I saw Roger do a brilliant adaptation. to pull the collar in and get to the standing position where he was able to release that footlock and then start to pass the guard. So one more time, we'll take a look at that. Just locking the hip off, making sure that the hip is locked off. Usually Roger has a locked guard. People are trying to sit down with the knee to the middle. He's locked their hip, locked one side of the arm so he cannot base, and he reached up to get the collar. As soon as the knees go to the side, he uses the collar to thwart off the footlock attack and gain the standing position and start passing the guard.
Simple but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sweep.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He's used it in so many matches. He used it on me in training, and it worked like a charm. So I like that sweep. I think it's a great sweep, and like I said, he adapted, grabbed the collar to defend the footlock on the way up.
That's nice. Now, in the absolute final match, Roger attempted a harai that ended up trying to turn into a sotogari, but Shanji defended it really well and ended up getting a single. You want to explain that to me? Because I don't even understand how that happened.
Zanji has a great sweep single, an outside single leg attack with a lapel grip. And if what happened is Roger had the grip across. Now this is pretty genius by Roger's standpoints because it doesn't allow me to attack that leg. But when Roger went for his takedown, when Zanji was able to step out, he was able to free this grip. All right. What that leaves is this leg very vulnerable. It leaves me with the ability to pull this collar down and go after a sweeping single, which is fairly simple to finish. And left Roger on his back, and Zanji scored not one takedown, but two of those during the match, which inevitably decided the match.
That did decide the match, and that harai seemed very finishable to me. And the next thing I knew, Roger was on his back.
Yeah, it's just, Roger's stand-up looked great, but it just made one little mistake and got a sweep single, and Zanji ended up the victor.
Hit that once.
Let's hit it one more time. So, and the circumstance of this one was he had a collar grip. Roger went for his takedown. Zanji was able to escape the hip, release the grip, drop the knee into the inside of the leg. That's important when we have the gi, because otherwise I'll get uchimated. And then I'm going to pull the collar down. As I pull the collar down, I'm going to extend my arm like a bow and arrow, and down it goes. And we're able to put our training partner, our opponent, on his back and score 2 points off of our defensive position.
Excellent match.
Yeah, great match. I hope you all enjoyed this. Hopefully it gave you some good insights about, adding some new components to your game and looking at what some of the A-level guys do. I hope to see you guys all at the next Worlds. And
there was some neat stuff that happened in the 08 Mundials, and these are some of the neat tricks that I saw, and I actually asked Williams about it, so I'm glad that he explained it to you guys.
Hopefully it helped. We'll see you all next time.